Yeah, g'day. Right, still progressing with this experiment of mine. Now, learn by mistakes, I suppose, as you go along. I believe that I was overcooking the resin way too hot. It was just frying it up. But there was smoke and everything coming out of the muffle furnace. I thought, no, this is just too hot. So I know it said between 450 and 550 Celsius, but getting the adjustment on my furnace here is the hard part, and I just had to turn it down. And I noticed that when I turned it down, the resin come out not all glued together and not all fused together, but in individual little pellets that were all ashed. And I thought, now this looks a bit more like it. So I'm not actually cooking it. The oven's not spewing out heaps of smoke. Taking a bit longer, but I think that was one problem that I was having, was the fact that I was just cooking the resin too hot, too fast. So yeah, I've just thrown another batch in there, which I know has got gold, because this ore's been panned out once, and I got several grams of gold out of it. A couple of kilos. It was full up in there. That went in there, maybe 5-6 pounds, something like that, in a 20 litre bucket. And I've got it half full of water, so about half and half water, half ore. And I just got that now preparing, got the pH right before I add the gold X. And I'll put that through resin too, and this time I'm going to leave it a fair bit longer, because another thing I was doing, I think, was not leaving it leach long enough. I think Keith Bowen said something about that too. You're obviously not leaving it leach long enough, hence the fact that I've got gold residue in the tailings. So yeah, sort of learning by mistakes as I go along, and I hope I can eventually achieve something, get something out of it, and I'll be happy, you know. I don't like things to beat me. But anyway, I'll keep going and I'll get back now. Right, I've got a crucible in the furnace here, in there, a couple of lead pills in there. So I'm going to fire that up and then tip it into a conical mould and see if we get anything out of it. I'm having trouble keeping the temperature up because it's a real windy day. Real windy, I mean, blowing a quid out. So yeah, struggling to maintain temperature. Alright, keep going. Cool. The lid. What that is. Weird looking, green looking colour in that slag. What that's all about, I've no idea. Well, I seem to have trouble maintaining temperature today. There's just too much galy wind blowing around, and yeah, blowing right through here like a draft, and just seem to have trouble melting it. Just didn't want to melt it and get it nice and flowing and bubbling. It did melt it, but I had to work quick. Now, well, got a couple of lead pills there, so I'm going to have to compel them out and see what's in them. Probably nothing. Right, well, I don't know how you go smelting large amounts of this resin. I got it 30 grams in one hit, and it seems to be a bit of the reason why you can't get the temperature to it. I think it needs, in large amounts, I think you need excessive heat to melt this stuff. So I might have to turn my gauge up, or think of something else to get a bit more heat in there, like maybe some charcoal and a fan or something like that, a blower. Because I don't know if I'm getting enough heat. I didn't check the temperature that time. Well, no, we'll go over 2,000 degrees. Well over. But yeah, just I didn't seem to get it fluid enough. I know that if you want a thinner in your flux mix, you're supposed to use fluorspar. What do they call it? Thinner, which is the thinner that you add, and that might have been what it needed, was a thinner. So that's something to think about, I suppose. But yeah, it seems to resist getting nice and liquid and bubbly. Didn't see it move the whole time. Even though it was liquid, I could swirl it around once I got it out. It was definitely liquid, but it may need to be thin in large quantities. Alright. Now that looks a bit more like it. That looks better. This one here, it actually looks like I can see gold or copper in it. The colour of it, even little pieces in it. I don't know. But this one just appears to be all black. Maybe that one's not quite cooked enough. I'll put it back in a little bit longer, but I don't know if you can see that there, can you? See the colour of it? And this one here is just all black. So maybe because that one was nearer to the back of the coils, might have cooked it a bit. It looks like it's pretty well done. This one might need a little bit longer, just because of the colour of it, that's all. But that seems to be a whole lot better now, with each individual little bead not all fused together. I'm ashing it a lot slower and taking a bit longer, but I think that's a better result. This should have gold in it. This is a new batch I've been leaching for several days. Part agitated, part with the fish tank bubblers in it, part agitated by hand, and then I've run the clear liquid through 3 or 4 times through the canister of resin. So there better be something in this lot. Okay. Right, I've got 2 cupels in the muffle furnace with lead in them, so that's stuff I fired the other day. It'll be interesting to see if there's anything in that. I'm not overly confident, but the stuff I've just leached a new batch, which I'm pretty sure is going to have gold in it, and I've dried the resin, ashed the resin at a much lower temperature. So that lot I think will be hopefully a lot better. But again, I've got to smelt that. So I'll just leave this muffle furnace is up to the task of this cupelling anyway. Okay. Yeah, the old Capel oven is muffle furnace. It's a bit sketchy at the moment. I just had a look at it this morning and broke more pieces of the coil apart and then tried to link it all back together again. It's working alright at the moment, but you know, pieces of the coil could fuse and could just shut off. So she's pretty old and pretty had it, so it's very hard to work with something that's that antiquated. But it's glowing red hot at the moment anyway, so we'll see what happens. Right, got that one out of there. Gonna have to show it. That's what come out. Got this sort of greeny look about it. Don't know what that's all to do with. The last one was like that. And there's the block of lead. I've already flattened it. Got to Capel that out and see if there's anything in it. Alright. It didn't all come out of the crucible. Just shit. Unbelievable. Right. Yeah, I've been having no luck at all. I've done a couple more smelts and the lead pill I've Capelled out and there's been nothing in it. So, look, I don't know what's going on here. So, one problem is, of course, that I can't assay the resin, so I don't know whether there's actually anything in it. I'm just about to pan out the tailings now from what I've been leaching for 4 days, and been running that through resin. And I had some fresh resin that I ashed nicely and smelted, and still nothing in it. So I don't know what's going on. So I've either got no gold in the resin, or it's the wrong resin. Resin's no good. So I really need an assay. The flux doesn't seem to get fluid enough. When I run it up over 2000 degrees temperatures, it's still very sticky, so it may need a And normally anything else that I've smelted, it's all runny and watery, but this is not. It stays sticky and gluggy, and some even stays in the bottom of the crucible. So it's going to probably need some sort of a thinner. Either that, or the other thing is that I'm volatilizing, cooking off any gold in the fumes when I ash it, which I know I did in the beginning. I've sort of ashed a lot slower now. So I've run the solution through the resin a couple of times. I've run it through activated carbon a couple of times, and because what I've researched is that if you treat activated carbon with thioglycolic acid and isopropyl alcohol, I have it written down somewhere how to actually do it, it's apparently is as good of capture as the Anion resin. So that could be another option. But anyway, however I can do it, if I can get the gold into resin or into activated carbon and ash it, then there's another option where it says you can elute it with aqua regia. Now I haven't got aqua regia because I can't get nitric acid, but I can do a poor man's aqua regia with chlorine and hydrochloric acid. So hopefully that could work. So, and then drop it out with sodium metabisulfite. So that's another option. These are things I'll have to look at. But so far, no success. I'm just doing another batch. I'm going to pan out the tailings and see if there's actually any gold in that. So I'll get back to you on that, okay? Found one piece of gold so far. That one there. One little bit. Only one so far. But it just shows there was gold in it. That's a fairly big piece, of course. And two more bits. Two more pieces there. It's the same pan, but they're considerably large pieces. So, yeah, I knew there was gold in it. Right. There's some more there. More pieces. Not real big, but they probably were a lot bigger before this leaching stuff got at it. But there's still gold in there. Right. More gold. 3 bits there. There's another pan. There's still gold in it. Not a lot, not as much as what it would have been if I'd have just panned it the second time around. So it has dissolved some, but these probably were fairly big pieces. Yeah, they were probably fairly big pieces to begin with, those ones, but there is still gold unleached in it, or dissolved, undissolved. I suppose it takes a while to dissolve large pieces. Who knows how big those pieces were in the beginning. But I'm just working my way through the tailings bucket and getting down there. I'm putting big handfuls in, trying to get through it as quick as I can. Just mainly to see if there's anything else. I'm not throwing anything away, but I'll snuff those up. And there's been a few so far, so yeah, surprising. After 4 days of sort of semi-agitated leaching, 4 or 5 days actually, it's been a while. So yeah, but it certainly has decomposed a lot of the stuff. Alright, keep going. 4 more pieces there, or 5 little pieces. There's still gold in it. I'm still getting down to the bottom of the bucket. I've got one more pan out of the bucket, I'd say. This is about the second last one. Right, here's part of that original study. It says original activated carbon was impregnated with TGA by stirring it. So that's thioglycolic acid, which actually is a wheel cleaner, fallout cleaner. You can clean your rims with it. I think I can buy it at Super Cheap Autos or something like that. It's in a bottle. And so thioglycolic acid mixed with isopropyl alcohol. So what they did was 0.7 grams in a 20 millilitres of isopropyl alcohol for 48 hours. Then the carbon is filtered and washed several times in deionised or demineralised water, and dried in an oven, slow dried in an oven for 4 hours, it says. So, and they found that to be equally as good at capture as the resin. So that could be another option as well. So yeah, just thought I'd throw that in. Damn muffle furnace is broken, not working. I don't know why, it's the switch or what. It was going real good, and I had this thing in there. It was glowing. See, it was glowing white hot, and it just stopped working. I think it's had its day. I know, noticed a piece of that broke off again. Had to rejoin that up. But I think it's something in the switch. It's just not, the light's not coming on. I can actually see gold on the resin. Pieces of gold. Yeah. This one's one I burnt up pretty badly. Looks like I've really cremated these ones. It's all sort of fused together. But I can actually see gold on it. Bits and pieces of gold. Whether there's a lot or not, or enough to make a difference, but it's there. Yeah. It's actually there. Right, so I can actually see gold on the resin with that little 60 by lens. I've looked at enough microscopic gold under that lens to know what gold looks like, and there's gold stuck to those beads, fused onto those beads. Now whether there's enough, I don't know, but somewhere along the line between that, the ashing and the actual smelting, I'm losing it. So that's something I've got to sort out. Alright. And my muffle furnace just will not work. I bypassed the switch with the wiring so that the light comes on, but no heat. Can't see any breaks in the wire inside, so that's pretty much bugging me as far as continuing. I've either got to get a new one or get it fixed, and to get a new one it's going to take a while. I'd love to have a new one, and I've seen one on eBay there I'd like to buy. It's sort of local within Australia, so it's a lot of money though. Yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll have to try and take it to a bloke up the coast there that repairs stuff and see if he can fix it, but I don't look as though I can fix it, and I really need it, because it'd be great to do little samples instead of having to, you know, start up the furnace, which possibly cooks this stuff away with too much heat. Yeah, I really need it, so I don't know where to go from here. Alright. Well, my muffle furnace finally carked it. It's at it. But I've purchased a new one, well, new second hand one. It's a perfect one, Tabletop Kiln Company. Awesome. They go over 2,000 degrees, and that's just what I've always wanted. So I've only just organised it, so I've got to wait for postage and delivery, so it could be a little while. But yeah, the digital one too, so that'll be excellent. So hopefully I can get some things happening. Okay. Did the aqua regia trick with the poor man's aqua regia, hydrochloric and hypochlorite, and got nothing. Put the resin in it, some of the stuff that I overcooked, of course. I've got some good stuff in there that I haven't completely ashed, but like I said, I've purchased the new muffle furnace and I'm waiting for it to come. It might take a week to get here, that's all. So I just tried that, putting the resin in the aqua regia, dropped it out with SMB, and not a thing in the bottom, nothing at all. So yeah, whether that resin had any gold in it or not, I don't know. I really don't know. I've got some other ore that I'm going to try a full leaching on it, and it's sort of a combination gold copper ore, probably more copper in it than gold, but I'm going to do a leach on that too and try that out as well and see what happens. So again, this will be continued. Okay.